Back. And now every once in a while, from time to time, I love to do these stories because they're very, very close to my heart. This particular one is also in its adoption, and I'm so lucky to have Stacy and Christy here. Now, Stacy is from Adoption Alliance, and we're going to get to Christy in just a minute. But I want to talk a little bit about Adoption Alliance, which is actually here in San Antonio. And can you tell us a little bit about it?
The Adoption Alliance, we've been licensed since 1989, and we assist birth parents and also adoptive parents with their adoption plan.
Okay. And do you have a personal connection to this yourself, or is this just something that you're passionate about as well?
I'm very passionate about it. I really feel it's important to do meaningful work, and adoption is. And birth moms, such as Christy, are some of the most courageous people.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, we are definitely going to get to Christy's story because I'm very, very eager to find out about it. But as far as, now it's a private nonprofit organization.
Yes.
What kind of things do you guys offer there? Counseling,
Absolutely.
specifics.
We start out by talking with the birth moms about their alternatives. We want to make sure that adoption is something that's right for them in their situation and for their unborn child. If they do decide to make an adoption plan, then we will assist them. They can select the adoptive family if they choose. They can keep in touch with them. They can meet them. If a birth mom is in need of assistance with maternity-related expenses, we can help with those. And so we do that during the pregnancy and also afterwards, including postpartum counseling.
Yeah, because I would imagine that for the birth mother, it's a very, very hard thing to go through. Do you find trends as far as younger versus older women, or single women versus couples coming into, or is it just kind of runs the gamut of everybody that's kind of coming through your...
Yeah, there's a wide variety, but what I've noticed is most people automatically assume that most of our clients would be 14, 15-year-old girls, and that's actually not our average client. Our average client is in her 20s.
Really?
And many of them have the birth father in their lives and have other children as well. And they just feel that they know the responsibilities of parenting, and they know that they are in a position where they're not able to handle the responsibilities of another child.
Right. Now, you also said that they're able to keep in touch with the adoptive parents afterwards. Do you find that people want to do that and want to still have that connection?
Absolutely. We primarily do semi-open adoptions, which is really popular these days, and that's where a birth mom has more control and choice in selecting the adoptive parents and then keeping in touch with them, getting pictures and progress reports after the baby is placed with the adoptive family.
And now, how do you find, what kind of screening process do you go through to find the adoptive parents?
The adoptive parents have to go through quite a bit before they're ever approved and accepted through our agency. They have to have criminal background checks, child abuse clearances, a home study done by a licensed social worker, a lot of paperwork involved before they're approved.
And also, there's also the living expenses for the birth mother that you also help out with. Where do you get your funding for things like that?
We're actually nonprofit, so the funds actually come from the adoptive family that the birth mom is matched with, but the funds are released by the agency.
Now, you said that it was free for the birth parent. What about for the adoptive parent?
The adoptive parents do have to pay an agency fee and the expenses involved in the adoption, but there are no costs involved whatsoever to the birth parents, and which is a good thing. And also, just to mention that all of the information is confidential.
Can we also we're going to take a quick break here in just a second, but can we also get the website or the phone number where people can get more information on this?
Absolutely. Our local phone number is 210-349-3991, and we also have an 800 number, 1-800-626-4324.
Wonderful. Okay, we're going to be right back in just a few minutes. We're so lucky that Christy has also joined us, and she is a birth mother who placed her newborn baby through adoption, so you guys aren't going to want to miss this. We'll be right back. Everybody, welcome back. Now, right before break, we were talking with Stacy. Now, she's a counselor at the Adoption Alliance here in San Antonio, and you gave us some really, really great information, but I also want to kind of bring it down to a personal note. Me personally, that's something that I want to do eventually. I think adoption is such a great, great thing. But we have Christy here. You were a birth mother back in 2000, so 5 years ago, and you went through this process. Can you tell us a little bit about where you were in your life at this point?
Well, I had just graduated college, and I was still trying to find what I want to do, still trying to find a steady job. I didn't have any sort of steady income, and it was just, I was in a situation where when I did become pregnant, I couldn't even barely support myself. So it was, so that's why I made the decision that I did.
Right. And so did you have the support of your family and friends and things like that? Because I would imagine, and I don't know, but 9 months to go, to be carrying a child and then knowing that you're going to give it up for adoption, what's that like, and what kind of support system do you need to be able to get through that?
I actually had a lot of support. My mother adopted my brother and I.
Oh,
so
okay.
we had a very positive experience with adoption ourselves.
Yeah.
So they were, of course, at first when I told them, of course, a little surprised. But when I made the decision that I did, they were, I mean, they came and they met the adoptive parents when they came to San Antonio, and they met Stacy, came to the agency, and they were completely supportive throughout my entire decision.
And what was it like for those 9 months? How did you get through that?
The first couple months were a little hard, just not knowing what I wanted to do, not going through all my options, trying to make the best decision. And it was just, the first couple months were harder, but once I actually made the decision, there was no turning back from there. Just, I guess because I had such a positive experience already.
And you also decided to keep in touch
Yes.
with the adoptive parents. What's that process like? What's that feel like?
It was actually very nice. Actually, I got married in October, and they came down for my wedding.
Wow.
They made the trip for the wedding.
And so, I don't know, I'm so in awe because I can't even imagine, I can't even fathom those kind of feelings or those kind of emotions. But what's that like for you when they come and you still have that relationship? Was it easy to let go? If you didn't I don't know, did you let go?
I did when I, at the hospital, when I signed the papers, I had some tears. And then after the tears, it was, I think because they were so great. They were the perfect family. They were everything that I wanted in a family. And they've been so great about sending me pictures and keeping in contact that I've never had any doubts about my decision.
And it's kind of almost like you didn't really have to let go necessarily.
Right, exactly.
Now, did you also adopt?
I adopted 2 dogs.
It says up here that you also adopted. You adopted 2 dogs, which is always important. So do you think that that's something in the future that you'd like to do at some point?
It's not really something that I've considered. I know that my husband and I want to have children, and if it becomes a situation where we can't have children, definitely adoption is an option.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your story. It's a courageous thing, I think, to come out here and do that, but you've helped out so many people. I just know that. We also have some more information for you. Adoption Alliance on Blanco.
That's right.
Okay. There's the phone number, 210-349-3991. And there's the website. And it's also, you said, confidential as well.
Absolutely.
So I think it's such a wonderful, wonderful thing. And anybody who goes out and does something like that is courageous to recognize the responsibility and also accept the responsibility. So I think it's wonderful. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We'll be back right after. We'll be back.